And I asked myself what that was, what would make me happy. And it's like, well, I always talk about owning a bookstore. Why not just do it? And
Yeah.
then honestly, within 3 weeks, someone donated their estate sale.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Behind the Small Business Podcast. My name is Kevin Dandino. I have Coleen Caraway here with Danu's Wardrobe, who's going to be sharing with us her story today and a really unique and I think fascinating business that is going to, I think, just lead me to ask a lot of questions. So it's going to be a really good one, guys. Make sure you stick around. Before we get into all that, first, remember, this is brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. So if you're looking for any kind of personal or commercial policy or quote, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to get you set up. Also, if you are a small business owner and you have a story to share, and I promise you, you do have a story to share, we would love to have you on a future episode of this podcast. So reach out to us, either a DM or through a comment on one of the videos, wherever you're seeing this. Let us know you're interested, and we'd be more happy to reach out to you, set up a future time to get you on a recording so we could have you on a show. With that, let's get into the fun conversation for today. Coleen, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Kevin?
Can't complain. It's summer. The
Yes.
weather's nice. I'm not a fan of the hot weather, but some people are. That's okay.
Sunny, at least. At least we're
Yeah,
getting a lot of rain, so that's nice.
that is true, and we need that for sure. So I want to just dive right into this.
Yeah.
Danu's Wardrobe. I want to hear the story. I want to hear more about it because there's a lot of things that you guys have going on here that I think is just going to be really fascinating to hear about. So kind of just start off by just sharing your story, background, and kind of tell us a little bit more about Danu's Wardrobe.
Yeah. So Danu's Wardrobe is a fantasy style bookstore pop up and event planning service. We are new to the event planning service, but we have been in business for about 2 years now.
Wow.
Some of the events that we've done is a collaborative fundraiser with Thane's Table in Arvada. We've also popped up at Tracks, X Bar, um, been in the Pride Parade as well, and worked with lots of local businesses. We are big on collaboration.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's a lot of things here. It's a bookstore, it's an event center. Kind of
Yes.
what's the feel of, well, before we get into that, what's the background of the business and where did it get its name? I think people are always interested in where like the small businesses names come from because there's usually a story tied to it, right? It kind of
Um,
explains what makes gives that business some personality too. So I want to kind of hear about that.
Yeah, so Danu's wardrobe is actually a combination. Danu is actually a Celtic goddess of knowledge and wisdom. It's very, very obscure.
Mhm.
And my name is Coleen, which is also has Celtic and Gaelic roots.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
and then Wardrobe was a play on Narnia, which is one of my favorite book series.
Very nice. That's a classic too. Definitely a
Yes.
classic.
Yeah.
I don't
No.
think there's anybody who doesn't know what that is.
No, and we love one of our things is we love to create magical experiences. So that's just kind of our goal with everything.
Yeah.
I write my own murder mystery scripts, and we
Oh
do
wow.
murder mystery dinners.
Okay.
Um, so those are a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet. I'm definitely going to have some questions about those in here in a little bit, but I want to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Let's go back and 2 years ago, or even before 2 years
Yeah.
ago. You're probably sitting there thinking about opening your own business.
Mhm.
What led you to want to go into something like this, and what led you to taking that leap of faith into opening your own small business?
Honestly, I've always loved books. I was an avid reader ever since before I could read, actually. My grandmother, she was a librarian, and she just taught me the love of books. So I grew up books my entire life. We just one of I was going through a really rough time a couple years ago, and I was spiraling. And one of the things
Mm,
that I thought that would help me is to focus on what I want to do
yeah.
for the first time. And I asked myself what that was, what would make me happy. And It's like, well, I always talk about owning a bookstore. Why not just do it? And
Yeah.
then honestly, I within 3 weeks, someone donated their estate sale, um,
Mm,
to me, to a friend of mine, and
yeah.
he actually, donated it to, the business, which was a startup of about
Okay.
5,000 books. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And that, yeah, that's got to help out immensely with any kind of startup stuff. And I imagine like there's a good, there was a good breadth of not a choice there, um, kind of helped people out as well getting in the door.
Yeah, it honestly it felt like it was just meant to be. All of a sudden,
Mm,
we had all this inventory, and why not? Why not
yeah.
start?
Yeah.
And
For
then,
sure.
um, my what, I quickly realized is that, unfortunately, books don't keep the lights on anymore.
Hmm. Yeah. Ask
As
about
much
that.
as we love them, that's the
Yep.
reality. And another thing I really enjoy is creating themed events.
Hmm.
So that was my next step. I've created scavenger hunts and murder mystery nights and roaring 20 nights. And it's just a lot of fun. And that's kind of
Yeah.
where, um, I guess, where we shine.
For sure. Well, okay. I mean, that's exactly what I was going to ask. With you do have bookstores out there. They're few and far between, and normally you see things like Barnes and Nobles or something. But even those companies have been having a really hard time as of late with all just the technology, e-readers, and all that stuff. So it's really cool that you've taken this concept of a bookstore that is maybe kind of you can call it a dying business, or yeah, I just don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
But then combine that with just other options, but other options that are centered around your passions
Mhm.
too. It
Yeah.
sounds like.
And yes, it very much is a passion, but more so, I wanted to be a part of the community. I wanted to
Mhm.
provide another local space that wasn't necessarily a bar, but somewhat someplace that you could hang out and co-work and like talk to people. We've kind of decided against the brick and mortar nowadays, just because
Mhm.
it's not as feasible in today's
Yeah.
economy. If by some reason, I was able to, I would love that and I would jump on it. But for this time, the pop-ups are honestly a lot more lucrative.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So walk me through that a little bit more from the maybe the planning stages and how you go about doing that. You're talking about creating these events. Where do you draw some of your inspiration from? What drives you to create some of these events and storylines and stuff? And then how do you go about finding places for these to happen in marketing? And there's got to be a lot that goes into this. I'm
Yes.
imagining just talking about it. Like, so where do you start and how do you go through that?
Honestly, I start off with an idea, like everything,
Yeah.
but I always have to have a theme. If I have a theme, I can pretty much run with anything.
Well, cool.
So I take my inspiration from books, from movies, from people around me's ideas. Like they'll offer them, and it's amazing. And then the next thing is scheduling. We all have busy schedules. I have a day job at the moment, and as much as I love it, you know, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Basically, finding a time and a place. Usually, a Saturday night offers more availability to people, and then, for some of the events, I'm able to pop up and that's a Wednesday night, Thursday night, or Sunday night even.
Yeah.
So, um, I would say probably my best advice on how to, if you're looking into getting into vending or promoting your business, is
Hmm.
looking kind of outside of where you think you might be noticed,
Interesting.
where
Yeah.
you might be noticed. Because we actually got into tracks and X Bar. We were in the Pride Parade last
Mhm.
2 years in a row. And we did that by working with other local businesses. I work with a vendor manager who's amazing, who does businesses all throughout the city, and forming those relationships. And
Yeah.
that way, as I continue to grow, I'm able to utilize this network that I created. And,
Yeah.
you know, we both, um, collaboration brings, I don't know. It's better. I don't know. It's easier than just doing it by myself because
Oh,
we
it's
all have
true.
the same goal. We all want small
Yeah.
businesses to succeed. So,
Well, I think that's a very good point because that's a theme, a very strong theme that I've noticed throughout all these episodes so far, is that the successful business owners are talking consistently about reaching out, building networks, talking to other business owners, even if they're your competition,
yeah.
um, building those relationships and leaning on each other. I'm not saying that you need to go share secret recipes or whatever the case is. But to build that relationship, it's got to just give you options.
Mhm.
Hey, if there's something you need or somewhere you're looking to go and you need that kind of assistance, like you need that support, and heck, you can combine companies for events and things like that. So yeah, I think you're spot on. Like that is a crucial part to owning a successful small business. So you're kind of talking about kind of doing events or doing things
Mm.
where you're not necessarily needed or no, like, so where do you try to plan your events at? Is it anywhere in Colorado, or a specific location or type of venues that you look to do? Like what does that entail?
Yeah. So honestly, a lot of my events are at least the murder mystery ones are in my home. They are a ticketed one.
Oh,
But we have the
nice.
bookstore in the basement, so it's a
Okay.
good aesthetic, and we're able to limit the amount of people who can come, and we're able to keep track of it,
Yeah.
which is wonderful. And it kind of keeps to the mystery of it. It's supposed to be, mysterious. They don't know what's happening. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, and
And
I
then,
would think,
mhm,
yeah, no, I would think if it's like a murder mystery and it's the same building I've been to 4 or 5 times
yeah,
before, is it really that mysterious? Like I know where
it's,
things are, and so
yeah,
and I think that's a unique thing to
mhm,
open up your house like that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing anyway. I think it is.
yeah.
It adds a unique twist to it for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I really enjoy it. And I would love to work with other businesses to find a bigger venue to
Oh, sure.
accommodate. But right now it adds a little air of the mystery.
Yeah.
Now for other events, honestly, we actually have a community fantasy ball and fantasy feast in September, and we are actually working with HQ. It's a local, basically music venue off of
Okay.
South Broadway.
Yeah.
And we're collaborating with them, and we're hosting there.
Nice. Well, I think those kind of things are really cool too, because one of the things I like to talk about on these episodes is the idea of community involvement,
Yes.
and bringing people together. And it seems like your whole, like a large chunk of your business model
Yes.
and your approach is bringing people together.
Yes.
So to do these things, like the community fantasy ball and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit more about how that came into being. Like how did that start?
Yeah.
Is this the first year you guys been doing that, or what's that look like?
Yeah, so this year will be the first year. What kind of sparked my interest was I've been searching for book theme balls forever. And they've recently come to Colorado. I've vended at a couple, they're great. But unfortunately, they aren't very accessible
Hmm.
um, monetarily wise. I've seen minimum tickets of $99. Um, so what our goal is to basically collaborate with other businesses so we can reduce that cost.
Yeah.
for everyone to come out. We'll have burlesque performers, we'll have vendors, and then we highly encourage the people to come out to tip, which is why we try to make sure that the tickets are as feasible as possible.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, and that's just it's something that not everybody does. And you're kind of I've heard a lot of different approaches to community involvement. It almost seems like every business owner has their own unique, mindset and approach to it. And it kind of does, it depend on their business type,
Mhm.
right? And how they do things. But you're kind of the second person who's talked about taking the idea of community involvement and really mixing it with your passion, things that you like to do. And it's like instead of just doing this for you and your close friends and family or something,
Yeah.
opening this up to the entire community. And
Yes.
that's got to be a scary step because you're really kind of putting yourself out there
Yeah.
even more so, than ways of just being a normal business owner. It's kind
Yeah.
of like you're putting your personality out there for people. And so that's got to be a challenge in itself.
It is. And as someone who basically identifies as an ambivert, I'm pretty introverted but can be extroverted. But
For sure.
um my favorite way to do it is, hey, I'm having a good time. I'm a little book fairy and I'm
Yeah.
just gonna enjoy and help everyone have an adventure. So
Yeah.
um it's all about making sure people enjoy themselves and embrace who they are, and no matter where they're from. Our
Yeah.
theme is a Night of the Nine Realms. So that means, there's so many different types of people. Show up as yourself, as a
Hmm.
steampunk person, as a horror fan,
Hmm.
as a frolicking fairy, as a
Right.
dragon. There's so many different ways that you can express yourself and your creativity, and just have a good time, embracing the community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So I might show up as a Broncos player. I don't know.
Oh,
That
that's okay. That would
maybe
work.
that's
You
it's my
you're
own
definitely in the
fantasy.
sports realm. Like, hey, there has to be something for everyone. I love
Right?
it.
Exactly.
You could.
So, it's cool that you do another part of the aspect of this is you don't just it's not just murder mysteries. It's
No.
you do a wide variety of things too. So I kind of just curious, do you have a favorite that you like to do more than other? I mean, obviously you're doing all of them because you like them, right? But um is there some that are, you know, you personally like more, or do you find that clients like one over the other more based off of just the type of event? Like, just there's a lot of stuff going on there too.
Yeah, so I would say my, customers are, I like to call them my adventurers.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, their favorite seems to be the murder mysteries because it is
Mm,
limited, it's, exclusive, and I make all the food myself. I write everything, I write all the scripts, I decorate the house, it is very, um, labor intensive for me. So
yeah.
I would say as much as my customers enjoy that, that's probably the most stressful one for
There
me.
you go.
Um, but honestly, just seeing everyone enjoy themselves is like what I like.
Yeah.
And then probably my favorite to actually do, um, it's just popping up. I'm, you
Hmm.
know, I popped up at it was a fairy ball at Tracks, fairy
Hmm.
masquerade at Tracks.
Okay.
Um, and that was one of our best events. We've been to the Tim Burton Ball as well there, the Gothic Prom, and then for Expo, we've participated in um, Next Top Drag Show
Okay.
series. So that was a lot of fun.
I bet.
So
There you go.
popping up, it's not as stressful. We don't bring a lot
Hmm.
of books. We bring some graphic novels, some pins, and we
Right.
talk to people about the business.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and hand out bookmarks.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like that. Well, one thing I wanted to bring up because you mentioned it before the show, you said you actually, you have some prior experience in the insurance industry as well. And I think you're the first business owner I've talked to so far that doesn't have, a brick and mortar type of store or working out of their home, selling stuff kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Um, Talking about popping up at different locations and hosting different types of events in different areas. So with your experience, both the business owner and prior insurance, how do you approach insurance in those kinds of environments? Like what things do you have to consider that maybe other businesses don't have to?
Yeah, honestly, my biggest thought at any event is what is the risk? Um,
Mhm.
because that's what insurance is for. We have
Yep.
to have liability insurance, product insurance, that sort of thing. And for me, I've been in, I have a unique situation. We did have a brick and mortar for about 3 months. And
Hmm.
during that time, we were locked out of our inventory by the landlord.
Wow. Wow.
So if anything were to happen during that time, like say a pipe burst or something, a fire, um,
Mm.
I had to have insurance to protect
Yep.
myself, and I'm glad I did.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's something that business owners, and I want to be careful about this. It's
Mhm,
new business owners are my concern.
mhm,
And the reason I say that specifically is because you see all these commercials of, oh, if you're a business owner, go download this app or go to this website, and in 3 minutes you'll have a quote. And it's you gotta like scratch your head, like maybe that's true, but are you really covered? Like does that really offer you any kind of protection? And
mhm,
so I think new business owners maybe really need to think about what does insurance do? What is the purpose there? And yeah, I'm probably gonna have to shell out some more money, but it's gonna mean that I'm protected.
yes. Yeah,
You don't want to go to bed at night going, if something happens, am I in trouble?
yeah. You wanna make sure you can at least cover, I guess, what you lose in the business.
Yeah.
And it's finding the right insurance to do that. Sometimes you have to shop around.
Yeah. Well, and so what are some of the things that you look for? Now you have a unique perspective, being an agent in the past and everything, but now as a business owner, what are some things you look for when it comes to shopping for insurance other than just price?
Oh, yes. So for me, I always look at the limits, and what exactly my insurance policy covers. A lot of insurance policies won't cover flooding, for example. Um, Other ones will not cover events.
Mm,
So
yep,
they're open to liability there. And it just depends on what your business does and what its goal is. And then you may have to get a special event insurance for bigger events sometimes.
sure.
Everything's different depending on what your business entails.
Yeah. So I would just recommend, one again, brought to you
Mhm.
by Centennial State Insurance Agency, everyone.
Yes.
And that's not why I bring this up. Like, look, if you're shopping for insurance, please give us a call and at least see what we can do for you. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that business owners are seriously covered.
Mm,
And just it, God forbid, if something happens, the first thought that goes through your mind shouldn't be, I hope I'm covered.
mhm,
The first thought should be, okay, I know my insurance agent. We've talked about these kinds of things at length. I know the risk. I know I'm going to be taken care of. Now let me take care of the situation at hand. Make sure everybody's okay and stuff versus instant panic of maybe that cheap
mhm,
insurance, is going to bite me in the butt.
mhm. Definitely. Mhm.
So it's interesting that you just have both, perspectives there. I think that's
Yeah.
very, very rare. So
No, I'm glad to share that. Thank you.
yeah. Well, speaking of sharing, what other kind of piece of advice would you give to somebody who's maybe looking to start up, or somebody who has been in a business owner for a long time? What kind of stuff have you learned along the way that you like to pass on?
Honestly, just there's a lot.
Oh, I'm sure.
I would say number one, know what your goals are, and then
Mm,
you'll be able to work towards them.
Yeah.
If you're just kind of aimlessly wandering, it's really not going to work.
Yeah.
Um, as much as we want it to.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. No, you got to have the goals and you got to have milestones.
Yes.
And I
It's
think
true.
it's just one of those things where I know the numbers, the
Mhm.
statistics of new businesses are not good.
Nope.
So for new business owners out there, and even people who've been around for a long time, like reach out, talk to other business owners, figure out how you can make things better, and different and change, and don't get stuck in complacency, right? And it sounds like something for you is not going to be a problem when you're creating new events all the time, you're
Yes.
creating new scripts. That's getting complacent is probably something that's it's likely to happen.
Yeah.
But it is something that does happen a lot for a lot of different business owners.
No, and that's why I love to just, recommend surround yourself with people who you want to be like, slash
Yeah,
are good people, are practicing business well and honorably. Um,
yeah,
it's unfortunate how often we see small businesses not realize that they can cause harm too.
mhm,
Um, by just not being covered and not having the precautions in place,
yeah.
you know.
It's
We
true.
work we work with the community,
Yeah,
we have a special place in people's hearts, you know. I think in bookstores in particular, whenever you walk into a bookstore, you get a certain kind of feeling,
yep.
and I think
There's a
for
smell to it. There's a feel
yeah,
to it. It just you don't get that anywhere else. Yep.
yeah, I think a lot of businesses are like that, and you have those people who just, "That's my place." Um,
Yep.
and yeah, we want
I like it.
everyone to be around for a long time.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, Colleen, I do want to make sure I give you a few minutes here to give you the floor to let everybody know how they can find you, how they can reach out to you, figure out what's going on with these future events if they want to sign up and go check it out themselves. But floor is yours.
Yeah. So we're on all social media. You can also reach us at www.danuc.net. Um, and then you can also reach out on Facebook, Instagram, and Tome, which is a new reader only platform. Um, and I will be selling live tickets for the fantasy ball. So save on fees by showing up at one of the pop-ups.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like it.
thank
Well,
you.
seriously, Colleen, thank you for spending some time today out of your busy schedule, sharing your story. This is a fascinating and very unique business. It sounds very fun for both you and for your clients, your customers, sorry, your adventurers, um, which I think is just a really cool little twist, by the way. Something to really make them feel a part of a community there.
Yeah.
And that's just fun. So again, thank you for talking to us today.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's all over here. Well, for everybody else who's watching, again, thank you for tuning in. This is brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. Reach out to us if you're looking for any kind of commercial or personal quote, and we would love to help you out. Also, once again, if you are a small business owner, we would love to share your story. No strings attached over here. We just want to help promote you and your business and everything awesome that you are doing on your side. So reach out to us if you're looking to, if you're interested in popping on one of our future episodes, and we'll get you all that information. But with that being said, we will end it as we always do by saying we will see you next time on another episode of Behind the Small Business. Take care, everyone.